So, do you know how special effects were performed in the movies in the mid 1900s compared to the movies in current day?
Let's say it again.
Do you know how special effects were performed in movies in the mid 1900s compared to the movies like now?
Never studied it, but I do know that there were, if you watch those movies, or you can do a little bit of the History Channel, how it was made, they used like models, and those models were used to create the special effects.
Okay.
Like, King Kong
Yeah.
was my all-time favorite movie.
Okay.
So they made the monkey go up the fake Empire State Building, and they did it frame by frame by frame by frame. So everything was shot that way, and it was, but then in the next level of the movie, they shot it from a distance, but they had a mechanical arm to hold the girl, so it looked a little bit more realistic, and I don't know how they do it now. Although, am I talking too much?
No.
Although I sat on a plane coming back from Arizona with someone who does special effects. Theirs was blood and bullet holes. They did more of that blood and bullet hole stuff. In fact, I'm trying to think of the movie they just did, a most recent movie. It was like one of those action movies like Spider-Man
Yeah.
or something like that. Like they were in the blood and bullets part.
Okay. How big of an effect on the movie industry and the special effects do you think computers were?
Um, they created, they gave people the ability to reduce the amount of time required to produce these special effects. Like, I think the enhancement of the computer allowed them to experiment more. Because I think I think that you can put a simulation on a computer and see how it looks without having, like, if they had to make if they made a mistake in the original King Kong, they'd have to move the monkey up the Empire State Building. Like, that might have taken 5 days.
Yeah,
Now
that's
they
what we
can
do.
just adjust it. So I think your testing was good and speed was improved.
Okay. How do you think the witch was melted in The Wizard of Oz?
In the original version,
Yes.
I really don't know. I'm not a big Wizard of Oz fan, but I've seen it several times since my wife was a big Wizard of Oz fan. I would imagine that they probably created stills like different, I think they created stages much the same as they did with
King Kong.
with any other movie where you see people changing from one figure to the other.
They actually had her on an elevator, and then as it looked like she was melting, they lowered her down.
Oh, and then it made
And then-
mush.
Yeah.
Wow.
How do you feel about the special effects change from like puppets on a string to computer generated in movies like King Kong and Godzilla?
How do I think about what?
About like how special effects evolved in movies like King Kong and Godzilla from like a puppet and they would move it frame by frame to just all computer generated now. Think it looks better, worse?
I think it's better. I think it's more entertaining. It makes it look realistic, but I am not as scared as I was I can't speak for the child. Like King Kong, Godzilla,
Yeah.
were like these scary monsters. You know what I mean? And like kids might have nightmares over this stuff, but it was very unrealistic, but to a kid it's very realistic.
Yeah.
I think that I would sit there and watch King Kong now and say that's not realistic. But I don't think I could say that about Jurassic World. Like that looks so realistic. So I think it's more entertaining for adults than it is for kids.
Okay. Do you like the modern day Godzilla better than the old one?
I like the old one.
Okay. The way it looks, the way
Just the way it was,
produced.
the way it was presented, like, and I don't like any of the Godzillas in between.
Okay. Because we have one of our group members, Jake. He's showing a film of like all the Godzillas over the years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Godzillas, the end of the Godzilla, Godzilla versus Mothra, or Godzilla versus whoever these other monsters were, wasn't as entertaining as the first. Like, it was seriously scary. It was called the $1 Million Movie. It was on Channel 9. And on Channel 9, they used to run the same movie all day.
Over and over. Yeah.
So I used to watch King Kong over and over and over and over again. Godzilla over and over and over again. I thought it was fascinating how, you know, like the whole process of that monster taking over. And I think the older ones are better. Although the last Godzilla,
The newest one.
the newest one, I just don't buy into the other, that whatever that animal thing was, the bug.
Mothra.
Was that Mothra?
I think so. It was like
Was
a moth.
Is that thing called?
Wings.
Yeah, but no, that was a bug, this thing with big legs and it was the last one, 2014. Like, it was okay, but I think it kind of wore itself out.
Okay.
I think you gotta give it, I think people have to give it a chance to come back. But the old ones were very entertaining as a child.
Okay.
Right.
That's all.
Are you writing any of this down, or?
No, it's recording.
Oh.